Welcome! And I haven't said this yet, but I have officially graduated! I did it. We did it. Uni wasn't easy, man. Uni was not easy. I haven't said it because I haven't gone through my graduation ceremony, and like most graduates out there, our graduation ceremonies have been postponed because of COVID-19, but thankfully NUS is gonna shift it till next year, January or so I still can wear my blue robes and my hat. But till then, yes, I was an NUS student and I did business administration, majoring in marketing, and I stayed in school for 4.5 years. I would say I had a pretty vibrant student life. I did various activities, attended different events, joined different programs, and I honestly wouldn't change any bit of my college days. Today it's all about money talk, so we're going to be talking about how I saved money through uni, how I worked, and also how I spent my money. I do want to preface this entire video by reminding you that this is all based on my personal experience and it is in no way or means a method that you can just copy and paste onto your own life. But I do hope that you find this useful! Okay, let's go. The first thing that I want to talk about is about income. I started working after my A-levels because that was pretty much the first time that I had unscheduled hours I could commit to part-time work, because prior to that it was all this like timetabled, scheduled school life. So I'm going to share with you the different types of jobs that I did and how much I earned from it, and also how sustainable it was with my student life. The first type of job I did is pretty common, and I think a lot of you would have experience with this. If not, I would highly encourage you trying it out. I did a service role in the F&B industry. I was a frozen yogurt girl. Okay, you guys wouldn't know the store that I worked in. I think it closed down already, but I actually chose a frozen yogurt store for various reasons. Firstly, it's because I really like to eat frozen yogurt. Secondly, it's also because I chose this particular store because nobody knew what it was. It's an unknown brand. It's not your Yao Yao, it's not your So Good. It's like a brand nobody knew about. In fact, it's so unknown, I actually don't really remember what it's called right now. Unfortunate. But I didn't do it for a long time because I basically felt like I learned enough and it was time for me to move on. Also, if you look at the math, it wasn't quite worth it for me. So I was earning $5.5 an hour, which isn't the best rate. And after 1 month, I realized that I could earn more somewhere else, so I decided to leave. The good thing about F&B is that it has a good schedule for students because you can pretty much plan the hours that you want to work and decide when you can slot it into your classes or when you can slot it into your free time lah. So that's a good part. The pay is not amazing, but it is consistent work in that you can still do it all the time because the store is gonna be there, assuming it doesn't close down lah. The next type of work that I'm going to be sharing about is ad hoc and event work. I did various types of this sort of work throughout my 4.5 years. The first one that I did was to join a photography company. It was a events-based photography company and they specialized in photo booths. You know what photo booths are? It's like a roving, moving setup that goes from event to event, and I was the girl that would stand in front of the camera, point up and say, "Look up! Smile! Ready? And 3, 2, 1, smile!" I was that girl. So I did that for 2 years. For 2 years. It was a lot of fun and I got so many different opportunities to go to events, and I even went to concerts. I think the one that I went to was the "Shut Up and Dance with Me, then Moment in My Destiny, you said ooh, ooh." Oh, so much fun. So many good memories from that work experience, honestly. I even went to Laneway and I was with... Oh, that was the first time I watched the 1975 live. It was the best experience. Yeah. So for my work in that company, I was pulling about $9 to $15 an hour depending on my experience. So by the time I hit like 2 years into the job, I was very experienced at what I was doing, which is why my pay could increase to $15 an hour. But you need to understand that event pay means it is for the duration of the event lah. So for example, if I were to work for about 3 hours, that's $45. If I work for both days, then that would be like $90 for the weekend lah. So 90 times 4, maybe $360 a month for 6 hours every week, which was a pretty good deal. if you think about it. And sometimes events will last for longer hours, that means I get more money. The other type of ad hoc job I did was to perform and sing at functions. So mostly weddings, but I would occasionally do corporate events as well. So like dinners, a lot of banquet dinners. I sang with a wedding band or an events band, and it was a great experience. I did it for about a year and I learned so much. That was the time that I felt like I grew a lot vocally also, because I was singing every weekend and I loved it so much. I never knew someone would pay me to sing, you know? And I feel like I was very lucky to get that opportunity. So for singing at weddings, which I did for about a year, I earned about $240 for every event. So assuming I did maybe one event every 2 weeks, not guaranteed lah, but sometimes, that's $480 a month. Now for the good things about event work, I think pay is one of it, because they do pay very decently for different types of event work, and it depends on what you choose to do. It is flexible, so scheduling wise it's good because you can fit it into your schedule, but consistency wise not so much, because when it comes to consistency it's very difficult to tell when events will come around. So sorry. There were some months that I didn't have any events to work at all, and that basically would mean that I had no income for that month. So you do need to think about these kind of things. The next type of role I'm going to be talking about is your internships. Internships in business school is like quite competitive lah, cause all the students will always be asking, hey, where you intern at last summer? Oh, where you gonna intern at in the coming summer? It's just like summer after summer, where you gonna intern at? What's your winter internship? Blah 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 blah. So I didn't really enjoy that. But I did look at internships as a great opportunity to both learn a lot as well as to earn some moolah, like consistent moolah. Because as you know, events moolah is not super consistent lah. So internships span between like maybe summer 2.5 months to, if you take the semester off, it's about 6 months. So you need to look at what time you have and what you want to get out of that internship. It's very important to know your priorities when you're applying for internships. For the internships I did, I earned about $700 a month. That was the lowest that I earned from an internship, to $2,500 a month. That was for a summer role and it was about 2.5 months. I guess it really depends on what you apply for, and the money, it just ranges a lot depending on that. But I feel like in summertime and winter time, those are great opportunities for you to, if you're trying to earn more money, great opportunities for you to go and find an internship lah. Because it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. You get to learn and you get to earn money. And the last type of jobs that I want to talk about is your part-time roles. So I know it's very ambiguous, like what exactly am I talking about when I say part-time? It seems like everything I'm saying is a part-time role, but I specifically want to talk about how you can look into opportunities in your internships, in your events work, in anywhere that you're working, and look out for opportunities that you can still add value to the organization or to the employer. With the photography company I was talking about earlier on, I ended up doing project management for them as well. I learned so much. Man, this job is honestly one of the biggest reasons why I am the way I am today, I would say. Because it put me in so many challenging situations that I had to learn and navigate around. And this was right after my A-levels, so I felt like it gave me a good foundation. What I did as a project manager was to meet clients. I went on sales calls. I went to negotiate deals for the company. It was a lot of project management things that I could do on the go, and that helped me so much in merging this job with my student life. I learned so much. I'm eternally grateful for my 2 bosses, who, by the way, I'm still pretty close to. So thank you guys. Y'all won't see this, but yes. I appreciate everything that y'all do for me. So much. Okay. And the next part-time work that I did was to convert an internship to a part-time role. So in order to do this, okay, just a reminder, this is not a copy and paste method, but more of a, you gotta look out for opportunities, because it was about looking at what the business needed, understanding how I could value add to that, and then proposing this to your potential employer. If you were to explain to your employer how you can value add to their entire organization, they would be more compelled to see why this role is important. And also understanding about how this role can be merged into your student life. The good thing about part-time work is that you can merge it with your student schedule, so it's a good schedule, and it is consistent because every month you get a certain amount for however much work that you did, and also it is a decent pay. I would say it's a decent pay. So the pay part really depends on your employer specifically and whoever you're working with, but for me, I did get, for a student, a very decent pay. So I got a range of I got a range of 800 to 1,003. Yeah. This was a consistent pay that I would get at the end of every month. On top of that, there was also CPF, which was great because then I got more money to buy a house lah. I mean, that's the truth, right? CPF is to buy a house, to pay for your medicine and your hospital bills. So yes, prudent saving is very important. Okay. I think I have pretty much wrapped up all the income aspects. I hope I didn't miss anything out. But I'm gonna now move on to the cost side. Now we're talking about costs. So how much exactly is your tuition fee? I think this is something that you need to go and find out so that you can do your own budgeting. Thank goodness for the MOE tuition grant. Thankfully, our country believes in education and wants to support us through university, because without that, right, I would have been paying so much more money. As a Singaporean, my annual tuition fees was cut from $31,800 to $9,450. This is annually, which means it's about $4,725 every semester. And the second thing that I want to talk about is Uni Bursaries. So this one is really in the context of NUS because I'm not sure how the other universities were. But in NUS, there was financial aid. And depending on the year, I was mostly eligible for about 25% of my tuition fees being covered by the bursary. In NUS, you apply for financial aid at one portal. And the great thing is that it will just check for which loans, which grants, and which bursaries you're eligible for based on that one application. For daily expenses, I am a very thrifty person, and when it came to deciding between, say for example, water or $1.50 fruit juice, I would choose the water. Because essentially what that $1.50 would mean is that if I drank water, right, at the end of the month, I would save $30. And I know that in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, this $30 is not gonna mean a lot to you. But in the short run, right, when you are really saving up to get something done, you have an objective in mind, you have a financial objective in mind, this $30, it does add up over time. That was a mindset that I carried with me throughout a lot of my decisions and a lot of my lifestyle choices. I would forego big brands. I didn't need to be carrying like the latest brand of bag or the latest brand of laptop, phone. All these things really didn't matter to me. As long as it was functional and it worked, that worked for me. But this is of course a lifestyle choice and preference. Ultimately, it is up to you about how you want to spend your money. But for me personally, I felt like this lifestyle and mindset helped me to save a lot of money. I was very prudent with the money that I had, and it helped me to make sure that every time I had to pay for my student bill, I had enough money in the bank. Now that I'm working, I feel like these are worries that seem very surreal because it wasn't so long ago that I was thinking about my tuition fees. But then from now onwards, right, I really don't need to think about tuition fees at all. I'm glad that I didn't take up a loan because a loan will incur interest. I mean, at least someone will be interested in you lah, but that's not the kind of interest that we're looking for. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't take up a loan, and I am very glad that I managed to pay off my tuition fees. I think it was a feat that I have to say I felt proud about as well. I was proud of myself for being able to do it, and I hope that this helps you to plan your finances and get you all pumped up for school. And all the best with uni. You're gonna do fine, don't worry. Okay, bye bye. See you. My ulcer very painful. I talk a lot eh. Can you see? Pain. Okay.